There is no future, because time is an illusion. There is only the present. The time is now. Hello, I'm called Aries, and you have stumbled into my channel, HardKnocksTarot. I started this channel a few years ago, living in a homeless shelter. I had lost my home, my vehicle, and eventually had to give up caring for my children on an everyday basis because I had no stable living environment to care for them. I lost all sense of security, and I mean all was lost in a matter of just a few months. And with nobody willing or able to help out, I was so angry and so hurt. I thought, fuck everybody, fuck my family, fuck everyone that has ever called me a friend, and fuck the world. I went into hiding. At that time, I still had my vehicle. I slept in it most of the time and saw my children when I could, mostly took them on outings or checked us into a hotel when I could afford it on the weekends. I'd work odd jobs through job apps, delivering food, working at warehouses, and doing various cooking gigs. I parked by the beach a lot, looking out into the ocean, thinking, God, why me? What the fuck have I done to feel so isolated from this world? So worthless, so insignificant. You see, I was born into the vibration of hate. My father was not very well liked. In fact, he was hated very strongly. And my birth was not welcomed. It was a huge disappointment, even though I was planned by my father and my mother. Everybody around them was in disappointment and disapproval. When I was born, of course, everything had changed. Well, not the hatred, but I was now being welcomed to a certain degree because of my mother, for the love of my mom. But even still, there was this unspoken stigma that I was not part of the family, that I was less than, that I was bad. So that's how, reflecting on all that, I came to just thinking, what the fuck have I done to be put in this position, just as a soul, and at this point of my life, I should have probably thought about not drinking, because, drinking and drugs have been an on and off part of my life, my whole life, and has, gotten me in trouble. Mostly alcohol, mostly relationships. Alcohol hadn't been a problem legally up until very recently, actually, the last 5 years of my life, I would say. But the vibration got worse and worse, got lower and lower, and I continued to do things that put me at risk to becoming in an even worse position that I was to begin with. Alcohol became the highlight of my life. And I had been drinking alone. When I didn't have my kids and I wasn't working, I was drinking alone. One lonely night, I decided to go back where it all started. I looked up a gig. I looked up a venue. I saw a show. I saw that some people that I considered friends at the time were all going to go there. So I went. I went because I needed a break from being lonely, from being sad. And I didn't get what I had thought I would. The night was great. The show was great. Don't get me wrong. I saw a lot of friendly faces, a lot of people that were happy to see me. And then I saw some other faces. Faces that I questioned. Were they really happy to see me? At this point, I had been buzzed, but not drunk. I had my car. I was driving. And the night was coming to an end. I did not want the night to end. I was having a good time. So I kind of invited myself to an after party. These people that I thought were my friends, they didn't seem too enthused, but they didn't tell me not to come either. I even told one of my friends, I said, I don't think they want me to go. I really don't. I don't feel that. And they said to me, oh, don't worry. You're overreacting. You're just thinking negatively. That's not true. I'm sure they want you to go. Did they invite you to go? No. Still, they said, okay. Yeah. Follow us. So I went. I went not listening to my intuition, knowing that they did not want me to go. So why would they want me to come with them? Like I said, they didn't really seem happy to see me, and I was just kind of wondering why. It was kind of weird. There's one huge thing that I'm leaving out, one huge influence that I'm leaving out, and it's a person. And this person was one of their best friends, family, almost. And this person was my ex-boyfriend. Somebody that I considered the love of my life to this day. Him and I had done a lot of things to betray each other's trust, to betray each other's love. But some time had passed. And I thought it was safe to go back into the waters. We stopped at the store, we picked up some vodka. Everything was fine, everything seemed fine on the outside. We got back to the house. Again, everything seemed fine on the outside. Of course, my intuition buzzing right here in my heart. Bzzz, bzzz. What is it? What is that feeling? What is that gut feeling? What's going to happen? I felt like I was waiting for something to pop out of the bush and surprise me. And that's exactly what happened. See, little did I know that these people were on methamphetamines. And they thought they saw something. Or maybe they didn't. Maybe they just made that up. But there's 3 males there, one of which I considered a really good friend. And there were 3 males and 4 females. One of the females had asked me if I wanted to have a threesome with her and her boyfriend that night. I respectfully declined. Respectfully. They retired into the room for the rest of the night. Didn't see her again. Didn't see her and her boyfriend again. At one point, I had to use the restroom. I went to the restroom, walked in on whatever it is these 2 people were doing. I don't know if they're doing drugs. I don't know if they were having sex. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. It looked like it could have been either one. But I had to use the restroom, and they wouldn't get out. And these were kids. These are, kids in their 20s. They're half my age, okay? And I remember pulling the shirt of one of them, of one of the couples, one of the 2, and said, you know what, I'm going to go to the bathroom. You guys need to go. And I, gently pushed them out of the bathroom so that I could use the restroom. This was after waiting and waiting and waiting for a long time. While I was waiting, I was sitting next to this other person that I thought, like I said, I considered a good friend. And his girlfriend was outside. Somebody I also considered a friend. Not a good friend, but a friend. An acquaintance, whatever. We would party together, see each other at shows. I went to her house a couple times. Not good. I've never had good friends, okay? They've always been very superficial. I could never hang on to a friend. And that's another thing. That's another thing. I never understood why. I understand now. I understand perfectly why I had to have gone through all of this stuff. But I digress. So after finally going to the bathroom, I come out of the bathroom. And I walk down the stairs, out on the porch in the front. The owner of the house, or the renter, or whatever, the person that was there, their space, the person that said I could come, didn't invite me, but, kind of. They said, okay, come with us. I saw those two girls out there. The girlfriend of a good friend of mine that was inside that I was talking to while waiting to use the restroom. And my friend, who I thought was my friend at the time. BAM! Clocked me in the back of the fucking head. I fell. I was buzzing. We had just came from a gig. We had just picked up some more vodka. My legs were wobbly. I fell down. I fell down the stairs. I fell down when they clocked me. And they continued to kick me in the face. They didn't punch me in the face. They didn't have the balls to look at me in the eye. They hit me in the back of the head, knocked me down on the ground, tall, weedy grass, by the way, and continued to jump me. They'll tell you that it was only one person, but that's a fucking lie. I heard voices, all three females that were outside, minus the girl that I had just met that night that was having sex with her boyfriend in the room that invited me to have a threesome. Minus them, I'm sure their sex got interrupted by everything that was going on outside, and I'm sure they're looking outside to the two other people, two other males inside the house. And I'm hearing my friend Robin. I'm hearing my friend Tony. And I'm hearing Robin's daughter. Her voice too. 3 female voices that I recognized. I knew who they were. Stay down! Stay down! Why are you doing this? What the fuck? Stay down! Psh, every time I'd get up, someone else would cock me in the back of the head. They would not punch me in the face. They would not try to strike me in my face. It was 3 against 1. Every time I got up, boom, knocked me on my back, knocked me in my head, knocked me on my body, and continued to kick me in the face. This went on for a while. This went on for a long time. Too long. I got up several times, feeling the pressure. My face puffing up, blood dripping down, eyes, I was losing sight. At this point, I was fucking delirious. I was angry. I was out of my mind. And I smelled fear, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked that fear. They were horrified by my face. And at this point, I was numb. I couldn't feel anything anymore. Very conscious. Let me just tell you that. I was no longer intoxicated. That went away real fast. I kept getting up. I kept getting up. I kept getting up. I kept getting up. And they looked at me like I rose from the dead. They looked at me like I was a fucking monster. What is up with this chick? Why is she not staying down? Why does she keep getting up? And it's because I'm a chosen one. And that's why. The chosen ones don't stay down. I was woken up by a police officer. I had passed out finally. Someone had called the cops, finally. Someone had called, the police officer called the ambulance. They asked me, do you need an ambulance? I said, no, I don't. I need for these bitches to be arrested, though. They didn't arrest them. No, they said there was not enough evidence. I called those pigs what they were. I called them fucking pigs. I called them useless, thoughtless, brainless motherfuckers. Because how are you going to call yourself a police officer who's supposed to protect and serve? You show up to a fucking scene where there's a female that's obviously been brutally assaulted. 3 cowardly males looking out the window. And 3 other females outside thinking they're about to go to jail, which they should have. She's crazy. I don't know what she was doing. She tried to hit us with this, that. She tried to run into traffic. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out. I was exploited. I've been exploited all my life. Chaos is my life. No future at all. As a high vibrational spirit being, aware that I was put here for a purpose, that we all are. Somebody that is aware and no longer a people pleaser. I'm not apathetic. I'm still empathetic, but I'm not a fucking pushover. I'm not better than you, but I am equal. I am equal to you. And a lot of people in my new spiritual circle would say, no, you're not. You're fucking better. You're better. You're better because you're aware. You're better because you take responsibility. You're better because you actually don't give zero fucks. You're better because you're a fighter and a warrior and you're a healer. You're better because you still actually give a fuck. I put a lot of people in a position after that, after getting out of the hospital. Luckily, my ex, him and I were not together. It had been months already. Luckily, he picked me up from the hospital and took me home, to his home, and allowed me to rest and get my bearings. My mom picked me up, who I hadn't spoke to in a long time, because she allowed me to be in this position. That's how I thought. I expected help. They picked me up. I had to go back to the scene. I found my glasses on the floor in the yard. I found my keys. They tried to blame me. They tried to tell me that I went crazy. They tried to tell me they had stopped me from killing myself. They tried to tell me that I had attacked them. They tried to tell me that I had grabbed this young man by the balls in the bathroom. All bullshit. Bullshit. I have been drinking almost all my life. Never, ever, ever would I ever put my hands on anybody like that, especially who I considered a kid. Never, ever would I ever do that. Never, ever would I run in front of the fucking traffic. I have children. I would never kill myself. My children have autism, both of them. I would never, ever do that. Fighting for my kids. I was drunk, but I was not to the point where I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I knew exactly what was going on. I could tell you step by step exactly what happened, as I am right now. See, these people were intimidated by me. They're jealous of me. I never fit in with this crowd. I never fit in anywhere. Not even with my own family. On either side. My dad is cut from a different cloth as well. He is somebody that turns away from people easily, turns his back. He doesn't care a lot of times. If he feels that you're not worthy to be in his circle, if he feels that you piss them off in any kind of way, if he doesn't feel you worthy in his energy, he has no problem turning his back on his mother, his father, anybody, it doesn't matter, me, begged and begged and begged. I'd follow my dad around. I'd beg him to be a part of my life, all of my life. That's what I did. Me living in the West Coast and him in the East Coast. He was successful. He is successful. But how he became successful is less than admirable. Successful nonetheless. To this day, our relationship remains in the same energy. See, my dad would want me around when it was convenient, when it looked good for his kid to be around. But when it wasn't convenient, I wouldn't be around, and that's it. And that seems to be the pattern in my life, the relationships I've had with other people. I am showing emotion because I know that I'm not the only one that feels this way, that has felt this way. And it's sad. It is. So I started living with my mom for a while. We didn't get along. A lot of things has happened in the past that made me lose a lot of respect for my mom and consideration of how she dealt with the abuse that my stepfather had enforced in my life, physically, mentally, and sexually. So when she is putting me down, judging me in any kind of way, it's very triggering. Because even though she was there physically, she wasn't there. I'm not saying this to put my mom down. I love my mom. My mom is wonderful and beautiful and has a lovely heart, and she has her own challenges to face in this life, as we all do. And we are on good terms and continuing to heal. I still had my car at this point. I befriended somebody in Long Beach. He needed a roommate. I needed a place to stay. So I stayed with him for a while. Long Beach, California, right by the beach. I did a lot of acid at this time. And this person was very low vibration, more than me. And he also had he was just very out of touch with reality, okay? Even me being on acid, bless his heart, I was still more in touch with the world than he was sober. He had just, went off the deep end. And I hope he returns. I haven't spoken with him in quite a long time, but I hope he's better. But it was an environment that I could no longer be in. It was just such a drag. It was just such a drag. And I tried to help him, but it didn't get better. Plus, he had a hard-on for me, and I was not down. So I needed to get out of there. So I was lost. I didn't know where to turn. I had turned to a friend of the family's, an acquaintance that would regularly ask me how I was doing. A retired firefighter, a good Samaritan. I said, I need a ride to this homeless shelter. He said, okay. I can do that for you. So he gave me a ride. He took me to the homeless shelter, and I got an appointment to come back a week later, and I got in. Thank God. I was at the homeless shelter for a couple of years, it seemed. It might have just been a year. Honestly, I can't even remember. This time has been real blurry. Right before the pandemic started, right before everything just started shutting down in 2019 is when I went into this homeless shelter in 2019. This was a different environment I had never been to. I'd never been in a homeless shelter before. And it was very interesting. I felt a sense of relief, a sense of camaraderie, a sense of unconditional love in the beginning. And then it started to feel like an institution. There were times where I couldn't leave. There's times that I had to be in. There's chores that I needed to do. There's certain areas that I weren't allowed to go to. There's a certain time that we ate. And there's a certain time, that we could watch television. We couldn't have any visitors. And it was worse because of all this during the time there was a pandemic. So sometimes we couldn't leave the property at all. We could only go to get toiletries and come back. There's a lot of people that were on drugs. That wasn't one of the rules. That wasn't. In fact, there was rules for the people that lived upstairs, which was me. People that had jobs, the people that had money, paid rent, a low amount of rent, did their chores, and, for the most part, stayed in their room. The people downstairs, they could do whatever the fuck they want. They could stay up for as long as they want. They could do whatever fucking drug that they wanted to do. Sometimes we were allowed to mingle, sometimes we weren't. I decided to go to AA. I decided to go to school. I decided to look for a job. I did all those things. I was already feeling the tug of spirit way before being in this homeless shelter, which is why I feel like I got jumped. I was radiating light, even in a very low vibrational surrounding. I was radiating love. I was radiating beauty and freedom, and those girls just didn't like it. They couldn't handle it. They could not handle what I had. I remember that night. I was walking on air before I went in there. I was actually in a really good place because I had felt like I had reached my rock bottom at that point. And I had bounced back. And at that time, I was happy. I was grateful. And I went in there with that attitude, and there was a tower moment, to speak in tarot terms. Okay, because these energies clash. Ching, ching, ching. And holy fuck, there was a combustion. And the combustion was my fucking face. You couldn't recognize me, by the way. My face is still not the same. It won't ever be. But I'm so grateful for that moment because it brought me clarity. No shit. And what those girls don't know is that I have a physical irregularity. I don't know how to fucking say it. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but it's on my head. Very easily, they could have killed me. I should not be alive. Considering the circumstances, it is a fucking miracle that I survived that assault. Because these 3 women were kicking at my skull and my face in every fucking directions with Dr. Martin boots on for 15 fucking minutes. And there is something different about me that they don't know, that they could have easily killed me. I should not be alive. But I am, because I'm purposeful. And my angels and my guides are fucking watching over me, man. And that was all meant to be. I went there knowing that these people didn't want me to go. Not to be cool to me, not for the reasons I wanted to go. Not to hang out and feel just part of a fucking society again. Felt like I had some friends. No, these people wanted to hurt me. I don't think they knew how. But I do feel that was semi-premeditated. They made things up to do it. They created a problem where there was nothing there. I knew, and as I was driving over there, I might have even said it out loud. If these fake friends don't like me so much, then they could say it to my face tonight. They could show me. They could not be so fucking fake. And they could tell me. And wow. They sure did. Not so many words, but they sure did tell me how they felt. I felt the hate. I felt the admiration. I felt the love. The love in my heart that they didn't have. I felt the lack of them. Everything that I had, they wanted. Self-esteem. Courage. This energy of not needing, but I did. I needed them to be my friend, and that's all I needed that night. I'm less needy now. That is a story that's difficult to tell. I got out of the homeless shelter. I started living with my mom again. I cleaned up my credit, worked a lot, saved, and got myself out of there. This all happened within, I want to say I lost my house in 2018, 2017, something like that. I got jumped in 2018. Something like that. Okay. It's all very muddled, the timelines here. But it's 2022 now. I have a nice apartment in a very nice neighborhood. I have my kids regularly now. I have cut way back on my drinking. I've cut way back on using any type of drugs. I am a marijuana smoker, but I have not smoked in a month due to the fact that I'm wearing an ankle bracelet now and getting drug tested regularly. But I've never been an addict. I've always felt like mentally addicted to marijuana, but not physically. And I've never been an alcoholic. I've always abused alcohol. I've drinking way too much. But as far as needing to drink every weekend, needing to drink every day, or needing to drink, no. I'm just blessed with not being an addict. I've always walked into a cloud knowingly, with open eyes, understanding the risks. And if anything, it's been, bouts of careless feelings of emotion. I've been diagnosed with long-term depression. I have been diagnosed with anxiety. So there you go. I'm very grateful for where I am right now. And if I could go back, I would not change a fucking thing. I have realized who the fuck I am. Before my kids were born, I remember sitting in my car. My husband and I at the time were going to church regularly. We had been for a very long time, but our marriage was failing. He betrayed me early on. a few times that I had overlooked. And now we had 2 children with autism. And I tried. We tried. But it just was not happening. Yeah. There's a lot of physical abuse happening at the end of our time together. And so we needed to not live together anymore. But during one of the times that I would be sitting there in my car, I had a moment, the kids were in school. When kids are diagnosed with autism, they start school early to try to minimize the effects of autism early on. And hey, listen, another thing I forgot to tell you is that I went to school to be a teacher. There was a positive time in our marriage. And when I met him, I was going to school to be a teacher. And I was a teacher for Garden Grove Unified. And we were doing good for a minute. I wasn't doing drugs. I was in the best shape of my life. When I met him, I had a 6-pack. I never had any kind of muscle definition in my stomach before, but I was running every day, exercising on the beach, exercising at home. When him and I got together for a little while, we lived with my dad, who was a nutritionist, by the way. Doesn't eat meat, not a lot of cheese, all organic fruits and vegetables, a lot from our garden. We lived there. We lived holistically. We had jobs. I was a cook. I also worked in the office. And my ex-husband had landed a job working with stone. But like I said, my dad is cut from a different cloth. And he had one of his young girlfriends hang out. And she was very jealous of me. And it caused a lot of stress. And I ended up losing a child. I was pregnant over there. I ended up losing a baby, but I was in very good health. Okay, I was taking loads of vitamins and minerals that were given to me custom by looking at my saliva, my urine, and the cells in my body were examined. That's what my dad did. And I was, taking these shakes filled with herbs that were, and I was in perfect health when I conceived my children, mentally and physically, except for this bitch, this crazy ass bitch that was jealous of me, the daughter. So stressed, lost the baby. I got upset. I got upset with the whole fucking thing. I said, I can't be here anymore. So we ended up moving to Long Beach, okay? Getting back to separation. I sat there one day in my car. It was hot. I was listening to music. I started to pray. Like I said, we were going to church at this point, trying to save our marriage. Not because of that. We had been going to church already before. But at this point in time, it was, for me, to save my marriage. I don't know how long it had just been a routine for my ex-husband, where he just was going along with the flow. But he is not spiritual as far as I know right now, at all. I'm not sure, to be honest, to be fair. But I asked God, why do I feel like you're letting go of me? Why do I feel like the Holy Spirit is exiting my body slowly and discouraging me from going to church? Why do I feel like you're letting me go? What the fuck? What is happening right now? And that's what it felt like. It felt like I was being rejected by God. It felt like God was pushing me away, was telling me not to go, was telling me that almost like this isn't right for you anymore. I was feeling the Holy Spirit exit my body. But it was for a reason. And after I got jumped, after I felt like I was tossed aside like a piece of junk, and that feeling came to a climax when I lost my home and nobody helped me. I started to realize that being spiritual, that loving God is not about being in a cult. It's not about going to an institution. It's not about having to prove anything, not even to yourself. It's not about having to prove anything to anybody. It's not about how people think about you. It's not about following the steps to being saved. It's not about that. It's not about that. God wanted me to know, you know what? There's much more to all of this than Jesus Christ. That's right, I said it. Jesus Christ is a way. Is Jesus Christ the only way? No. No. No, no, no. If anything, I feel like Jesus Christ was one of the many aliens that came here to show us the way. Jesus Christ is a soul, is a person, is a vibe. But he is not the only way. He is not the all. It takes a lot of bravery and a lot of balls for me to come out here and tell you how I feel, what I know in my heart to be true, my truth. And my truth and how I feel and what I know to be true in my soul. In my soul. In my soul. Is that we have many extremely high vibration souls, orbs of light that have gone through this school of life enough times. They have earned their way into several timelines simultaneously to affect the lives, as many souls as possible, to raise their frequency. And this comes in many forms. This comes in the form of a human, and this comes in forms of everything that we know here on Earth and everything that we know and don't know about other planets. But this existence is full of galaxies, full of universes. It's beyond our human comprehension. We can never even begin to fathom how much is out there. But I am a believer in the works of Dolores Cannon, who has hypnotized several, I don't know, 100 people. I'm not sure the number. Through quantum healing, they have revealed what's on the other side. Their past lives, their higher self, their future self. And they revealed a lot that makes a lot of sense, that aligns with a lot of what these great, beautiful beings have come to reveal to us, to try to show us the way, including Jesus Christ. And all the other religion, all the other gods, and all the other religions. Religion is a way. In my opinion, it's a lower vibrational way, but it's a way. I choose to believe that I am a multi-dimensional being living a temporary experience. And I am immortal. And I will never die. And neither will you. We are all recycled souls. We come from God. We are part of God. We are the life of God. We're breathing God. We are God. We're God, man. period. And then you want to ask yourself why. Like, why? Like, what is God? Why did he create us? Why is all this happening? And I can get into that too. I can get into the Dracos. I can get into the devil. I can get into the fallen angels. I can get into the Galactic Council. I can get into the many forms of life that we need to experience before being a human. I can get into all of that. It's very deep. It takes somebody who gives a fuck, first of all. And it takes somebody who's willing to have an open mind, willing to erase everything, almost everything that they've ever known to be true. It takes faith. It takes research. It takes trust. It takes trusting your fellow man. It takes trusting yourself. The experiences that you hear, the experiences that you experience. It takes all of that. It takes courage. It takes a high sense of worth. It takes being a student. It takes being a teacher. It takes all of these things. I was called to do this. I was called to be who I am. And not everybody experiences the experiences that lead up to waking up to this responsibility. And that's what it is. I have a responsibility to my Creator to speak of this. I have a responsibility to speak what I know in my being to be true. And it's because I earned being here. And because this was my life's fucking path. I didn't choose this path. This path chose me. Believe me, I would have much rather have been welcomed in open arms in a loving family that treated me with love and respect. I would much rather have not been sexually and physically abused, not being beaten, and everything else. I would have much rather had a father that was present and proud all the time, not just when it was convenient for show. Someone that loved me with open arms that would tell me, you would never be without. You'll never be without. I would have rather had connections that lasted a lifetime. Friends. And dare I say, I would have chosen to have children that didn't have to struggle with the challenges of what autism brings. Now, I could have went the other direction. I could have continued in this path of poor me. Fuck God. I could have been a drug addict. Easily. I could have committed suicide. Easily. I could have just ran away. I just could have just given up on myself. And been some gypsy whore somewhere. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons that would have been understandable. I've been exploited. And all of us that have been put in this situation, used. Been bended back and forth over and over and over for other people, for to serve them, constantly being put on the back burner. But I've risen to the occasion because I I'm taking responsibility for my life. I was given this strength. I was given this clarity. I was given this feeling of love. I was given everything that I have internally because I do matter. Because I am special. Because I chose this. And what makes me a chosen one is that I choose to choose. I choose to choose. This is not an easy road. This is not a popular road. This is not a road that is respected a lot of the time. Hard Knocks Tarot is for the people that have felt the hard knocks. Hard Knocks Tarot is for the people that need more hard knocks on a different level. I felt the pain. Have you ever heard of, it's better to have lost love than to never have loved at all? There you go. When you feel like you've never been loved at all. I know a lot of people are upset because their family and friends are dying. A lot of people are going right now. Either because they're engaging in risky behavior, or because they're not taking care of themselves, or health-wise, or because their hearts are broken. You know, people don't understand that you can die from a broken heart easily. Guys, energy is everything. Energy is everything. Okay? The point of Hard Knocks Tarot is I want to take that energy. Take that pain. I want to take your pain and I want to transform it into energy that is going to put you on a different frequency. Because that's what it's all about. It's about frequency. And there's different frequencies of energy. And when someone is sad and feeling sorry for themselves all the time, then they're going to attract things that are going to continue to make them sad and give them reasons to continue to make them feel sorry for themselves. That's just how energy works. I have been continuing to rise ever since I have seen the light. And God tried to tell me, source, whatever label you want to put on our higher power, our creator, was trying to tell me in that car that there's more, that there's fucking more. And I feel so loved and privileged that I was told that there's more, because not everybody gets that memo. God was telling me, don't follow the church, because there's more to it. There's more to it. You're tipping your toe in. I want you to cannonball. You have the balls. You have what it takes to cannonball. You have what it takes to make waves. You have what it takes to change lives. You have what it takes to raise frequency. I choose you. A lot of people are chosen, but they don't answer the call. And that's what makes me a real chosen one, because I'm answering the fucking call. I have the balls to speak about it. I haven't given such less fucks in my entire life, except for what I have, what I never had before. And that is true respect and love for myself. And I will not tolerate bullshit. What I will do is follow my heart. What I do is trust me and let me guide my way and not give a fuck however anybody thinks about me. I don't have to explain myself why I do things. It just is. And this is an acquired skill. So is listening to your intuition. We all have these things dormant, but not a lot of us want to use this. It's God-given fucking right. It's a power. It's God-given. It's blessed onto us to be used for a purpose. We don't need to know why We don't need to know why our Creator created us. We don't need to know what the reason behind everything. Our minds are not made to comprehend everything that is happening. I know that we are here to learn. Sorry, I know this is gross. I know that we're here to learn. I know that we're here to raise our frequency, raise our light, right? Because the lighter we are, the higher we fly. The next level that we get to being closer to God. The lower frequency, where do you think that leads to? And we're not going to get any higher until we realize our power, until we realize how important we are. And our souls are just going to continue to recycle over and over and over until we wake up. And what are we waking up to? We're waking up to the fact that we are God, that we are more. But we have to realize this. And a lot of people are going to laugh at me. A lot of people are going to put me down for what I'm doing right now. I don't give a fuck. I am a fucking warrior. I'm a survivor. I'm a beautiful being. And I don't need anybody. And if you're in my presence, you should feel grateful. Because you know what? If you're in my presence, I'm grateful for you. This channel is about finding your power, finding your using it to do good, to raise your brother and sister's vibrance, to raise their frequency, to love yourself enough to forgive others, and to want more and to do all that we can while we're down here. Because we are truly one. This is Hard Knocks Tarot, and I invite you into my family. By liking and subscribing to this video, you're accepting the power. You're accepting the energy that I expel, which is positivity and beauty and growth and light. Hey, listen, we're not all perfect. I'm not coming from a point of someone that is, that does good all the time. I'm a human being. I'm in school, just like you're in school. We're in the school of life, baby. And just because I speak things doesn't mean I'm talking down to you, doesn't mean that I am better than you, doesn't mean I'm doing what I'm speaking. I'm speaking, God is speaking through me when I'm speaking through these cards. He's giving me the message, or she, or it. I don't think God is any sex. I am just a vessel. I am being used, like many others, to send a message to me and to you. We're learning together, friends. I am a lone wolf. I am alone, but my spirit guides run deep. Join me if you vibrate. If you're feeling me right now, vibrate with me. Press that like and subscribe. I'll see you in the video real soon, family. Namaste.